For as long as I can remember, I've always been a light sleeper. Ever since I was a little kid, I have been prone to waking up in the middle of the night. Roused to use the bathroom, get a drink, have a panic attack, or fight to get myself back to sleep. And in these moments, many of them on consecutive nights, I would time and time again have to confront my greatest fear. It was waiting for me when I approached the door to my bedroom, lingering around the corner to stare me in the face in the bathroom. My greatest fear, from my youth into my adulthood, presents itself in mirrors. When I was young, it was the fear that I would look up into the mirror under the darkness and mystery of night and find something other than what I expected to see. Prone to too many early 2010s creepypastas and jump scare horror crazes, I was terrified of the prospect that my reflection could look back at me, turn its head, smile, and wave. That something other than exactly myself would be shown in the device used to reflect only what is there and none of what is not. For this reason, I would do my business as quickly as possible, avert my gaze from the horrible instrument in front of me for as long as I could, and nearly sprint back to the sanctity and imperceptibility of the covers in my bed and the darkness that accompanied them. I've always been a light sleeper, and unlike other childhood fears, this one never really went away as I aged. The reasoning changed over the years as I grew into my teens, that nighttime wake ups became desperate screams from my body for nutrition, or equally desperate screams from my mind to take control of the situation. As I ventured to the bathroom to consider throwing up or brushing my teeth once more, the mystery behind the mirror could only have added to the terrors I was currently already facing. The panic attacks could only worsen if something else were to present itself in the mirror, and for this reason, during the now nightly wake ups, I continued to catch nothing but fleeting glimpses of myself. Very rarely would I find myself taking long looks into them. Instead, the momentary glances I did take were nothing more than cursory checks of an appearance. Not an examination of it, but merely making sure it was passable enough not to raise suspicion or undue attention from others. In this way, I never really fully examined the image I was met with for very long, nor did I pay it much mind. I was safe in my ignorance. I was safe in my blindness. I was safe as long as I didn't look up. As long as I didn't give the mirror a chance to show me something I did not want to see reflected back. I've always been a light sleeper. Recently, in the middle of another stressful night, I awoke to use the bathroom sometime after 3 a.m. Foregoing any chance at getting back to bed before my unholy wake-up time the next morning, I returned to my bedroom, closed the door, and found myself once again afraid to look deeply into the filthy full-body mirror hanging behind it. Yet, the mounting frustration I had been both consciously and subconsciously feeling over the previous 24 months moved me to truly meet my own gaze for the first time in a very long time. It may very well have been something else that drove me, but either way, I flipped the lamp on and took a good, long look. I've always hated the way I looked in pictures, always surprised by the lack of me there seemed to be in every shot I was in. And as I stared back at myself, standing in the same bedroom I used when I was 11 years old, I was once again met by my greatest fear. I did not recognize the person I saw in the mirror. As I had grown into my 20s, I had started to have at least a fraction more understanding of who I was, but he was not that. He mimicked my movements, spoke with my voice, and stared right back into the depths of my soul, but he was not who I was. This phantom vision, this doppelganger, was suddenly nothing more to me than the paint on the wall behind him. In that moment, the years-long toll that this nightly torment had on my psyche suddenly and totally descended upon my mind. After decades of avoiding my own reflection, I realized that I had no concept of what I thought I was supposed to look like, what I was supposed to be. The accumulated years long sense of wrongness was so profound that it pushed me to sit down and have what was maybe the most honest conversation I've had with myself in 22 years. Even though I'm still a light sleeper, I feel like I may have fully woken up for the first time that night. Since then, with a monumental amount of effort and drive that even I didn't know I had, I've started to see just a tiny bit more of what I expect to see each time I glance in a mirror. Each of those little bits has been excruciating, painful, and exhausting to draw out from beneath the blankets of darkness I found myself buried under. But I do believe that someday, maybe very soon, I will be able to look into a mirror once more and know for a fact that what I saw looking back at me was my own self and nothing more. That what I saw would be what I expected. But most nights, it's just simply too hard to do. And so I just keep looking down, stumbling slowly, blindly through the dark.